Traders, it's 24 minutes past 2 p.m. here in Brisbane on Thursday, the 25th of January, and I'm looking to pick up a fight with the NASDAQ and the S&P. But before we take a look at the chart, a quick word about Forex this week. So it's been quite interesting. There were interesting moves on intraday, but for swing trades, there were not a lot of action. There are pairs such as EuroCAD who are just going sideways, not going any direction. There are pairs such as Euro Aussie that we see a contradiction between the higher time frame, so the weekly and the daily time frame. So one is in an uptrend, the other is in a downtrend, and we are right there at that area of argument between those buyers and the sellers. And there are pairs such as the yen pairs that already had quite a bit of a move, and we're looking at a bit of a pullback. So there are times like that in the market. There are times that something is moving and then the following weeks there's not a lot of opportunities and then it starts all over again. This is the world of real trading. Sometimes there's ample spoiled for choice opportunities, and sometimes we have to sit on our hand and wait for those great opportunities to come and not go after mediocre setups. So with this fight card, I want to start with the NASDAQ, and this is the daily chart. And as we can see on the daily, we have a very strong uptrend. We consolidated here for a little while underneath the 16,900, and then with one candle we broke that level and that all-time highs, which incidentally was also around the very round number of 17,000. So we pushed higher, and this is the first time that we actually had a bit of reactions from the sellers. And if we see the low of this candle broken, then this potentially the start of the pullback. Now, if we take a look here on the weekly, then we can see on the weekly we had a strong move again in an uptrend, but overextended. Moving into the monthly, and the monthly is the same, quite a strong buying momentum over here, very overextended. So there is talk in the market about exuberant buying right now. So we are sitting at all-time highs. We keep on printing all-time high. This one has moved quite a lot, quite fast. There is a potential for a deeper pullback. So something to keep in mind. But for now, what I'm looking at, and I also draw the Fibonacci retracement of this latest move, and we can see that the 61.8% retracement is clustering quite nicely with the previous all-time high and with the area that the sellers were last strong and were able to push the price lower. Now, when I'm looking at my offense line, I'm just going to look at the 4 hours for this, we can see we had a couple of touches here. We saw it on the daily as well, but what I like about the 4 hours is that we went up into here, pushed lower, and then skedaddled out of there. So I'm looking at my offense line to be the area between this 16,900, so this breakout level, and the 17,000, so that previous all-time high. As for the point swing, I'm going to go just underneath this consolidation or tiny little activity over here, so in and around the 17,250 area, and for the knockout for the time being around the 17,500. Keep in mind that we haven't really had a pullback yet, so this could just continue higher from here. But the offense line, the area that I would like to start my striking, is still sitting here between these two lines. So next is the S&P. So let's take a look. So I want to go up into the daily, and it's quite similar to the NASDAQ, but not as strong. And as you can see, this high that we've printed here, we sort of like went sideways. We don't have that big push that we had on the NASDAQ, and with this high is actually slightly lower than the previous one. Now, the other thing is the Fibonacci retracement. The area of the 50% is in and around that 4,800, so a nice round number as well. And it's a similar story. We've got here a bearish rejection candle, but we haven't really started the pullback yet. If we'll take a look here on the weekly, we can see once again very, very overextended. And if we'll go up into the monthly, it's the same story. So we had that strong push. We're sitting at all-time highs. There are talks that the S&P has made in, 24, 25 days since the year has started. It actually reached the area that a lot of analysts have thought that it will finish the year in. So a big move very quickly, very sharp. And once again, with this potential exuberant buy, there might be a case for a very deep and very strong pullback. So there are voices in the market that are talking about that. I heard someone talking about catastrophic sell-off, but there's always both sides of the equation. The extreme optimism and extreme pessimism. But I'm looking at the chart and I'm looking at the levels to tell me where to from the market. So currently very overextended, but you can see that a pullback into this area, it's going to be previous swing high here as well on the monthly, but not a strong enough pullback. And really, realistically, I would prefer a pullback into the 4600, into the previous high on the monthly chart. That would release a lot of this very strong buying pressure. Coming back into the daily, if I'll get a pullback on the daily, I'll need to see that the buyers are ready to take over here again. So coming back into the 4 hours, then my offense line is going to be around this 4800. So this level, you can see the wicks here, another week, and then a quick consolidation here and a break through it. The point swing is going to be underneath these touches over here, so in and around the 4840, and the knockout just shy of that previous high, shy of that 4900, so in and around the 4885 area. Once again, we haven't really started a pullback yet. So if we'll take a look back on the daily, the pullback hasn't started. We are only had a day of a little bit up and then down, so we could continue up from here. But once again, I'm looking for that release of the buying pressure, and the first point of call will be around that 4800. But with this fight card, both of them, the NASDAQ and the S&P, because of that strong push, I want to see signs that the buyers are ready to take over from the sellers if and when we're pulling back into that area. And it might be that we will continue higher, and maybe next week Fed decision will see this market pulling back. But I am looking at these areas for my offense area. Happy knockouts, everyone. Bye for now.